What's up guys, I'm BTC. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly and easily modify your view model in CSGO. Now, you can change the settings for your view model in console, but instead we're going to be using Crash's view model generator. This is another one of the custom maps you can find in the CSGO workshop. I'm going to include a link to this map in the description of this video. Now, some of you might be asking, what exactly is a view model? It's basically the positioning of the gun on the screen as you're playing the game. And to demonstrate, there are a couple of presets over here, so let me show you these. You've got this one right here, which is very close to the default. You have the gangster one, which is obviously a very silly view model. It is obscuring far too much of the screen to actually be viable. Then we've got this one right here, which is closer to default as well. This one, which kind of minimalizes it, but it's also a somewhat awkward looking view model. This is kind of a variation of that. That's the Quake view model. Mstar, this one moves the view model all the way to the right, all the way back, and all the way down. And the reason for this one is so that you have maximum amount of area on the screen to see your enemies. See, the reason why you don't want to use this one is because it's obstructing too much of the screen. This one is making it so that the gun is as small as possible. Same thing with this, it's just putting it in a slightly different position. And then this one is another kind of variation on the default. Now you can mess around with all these settings yourself if you want. You don't have to use the presets. You can change the position up and down, left and right, forward and back. You can also change the field of view. Now you can also make it so that it is left-handed. Some people are going to tell you that the left-hand model, for whatever reason, is superior and you should always use it. That's not true. Most of this is all just personal preference. However, keep in mind, if your gun is obstructing too much of the screen, it's going to make it more difficult for you to see the enemies. And as far as the left-hand, right-hand thing, well, again, that's mostly personal preference. However, if you're very much right-eye dominant, you may actually want to try the left-hand model because it might actually help you out a little bit in game. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I personally am very, very much left-eye dominant, so I have to keep the gun over here. If I were to play with the gun over here, all I would see is the gun, and it would be very difficult for me to actually notice the enemies on screen. But when I have the gun over here, and when I have it all the way in the back, it's very easy for me, as someone who's strongly left-eye dominant, to pick up on the targets as I'm moving the crosshair across the map. Because the gun is all the way in the bottom right, I barely notice it because of my left-eye dominance. So this particular view model is actually very good for me. Even though people claim that it's really ugly and I get complaints about it, this view model helps me quite a bit, and it's the Mstar one. Now, if you want to change it slightly, maybe you don't want it all the way in the back like that. Maybe you want to see the gun a little bit more, because it does make it actually a little difficult to see your gun, and some people like being able to see their gun. You can come over here and just, move it forward a little bit. Actually, we can probably move it all the way forward right there. So you can move it all the way forward. That way you can see your gun a little bit. Maybe you want to move it up slightly. You can do that as well. Well, sometimes these buttons can be a little finicky, so keep that in mind. So we're going to move it up a little bit. There you go. But see, as I'm moving the gun forward, as I'm moving the gun up, keep in mind, it's obstructing slightly more and more and more of the screen. So it's not a super big deal that it's obstructing a little bit of the screen, but just keep that in mind when you're making your view model. Everything else is just personal preference, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button. Lots more videos where this one came from. Thank you for watching. Remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.